Hello and welcome to this edition of The New Normal. Today, thanks to France 24's correspondents around the globe, we will be taking you to Morocco, to Niger, to South Africa and to Portugal. But first, let's start in Lebanon. On the 4th of August, a large explosion devastated parts of Beirut, the capital, leaving thousands of people homeless. Now, solidarity is organizing amongst residents in order to shelter those who have lost it all. It's a report by Karim Yayaoui, Abdallah Malkawi, adapted to English by Fraser Jackson.
The story is all too familiar in Beirut.
هيدا ونش عن البور طار بلوك من الونش قشط من السقف السطح يعني للحيطان كلها لتحت لوصل لهون على أول طابق.
بيت؟ ما في بيت خرابة.
فكرت حالي إني رح موت خلص مش رح يشبع. عم نام عند ناس ما غرفتي كلها تخربت. عاد عندي شي نام فوق قد ما فيي عم حاول إني نطفى.
Scaffolding has been put up across the neighborhood, erected by an organization with no political allegiance. Its aim is to repair the damage and to rehouse people before winter sets in, but also to lift the spirits a little.
Ils ont peur, ils sont en état de choc, ils sont délaissés par leur état. Je ne veux absolument rien de cet état, je ne veux plus d'eux. On donnera au monde entier un exemple de solidarité et de citoyenneté.
But the resilience of the Lebanese people is being severely tested.
رضينا بالسرقة، رضينا الدولة أخذت لنا مصرياتنا، رضينا بالدولار 10,000 ليرة، كله رضينا فيه بس هاي الشغلة أنا بعد في ابني شاب قلت له ماما روح سافر لأنه ما في عيشة هون بلبنان ما في.
After the cleanup, residents meet for a prayer to come together in the face of disaster and to give each other strength. But tonight, like every day since the explosion, hundreds of thousands of people in Beirut will have to find somewhere else to sleep, their homes devastated.
In an effort to stem domestic violence, the South African authorities had enforced a complete ban on alcohol sales during the coronavirus lockdown. Now, this ban has been lifted, but after months of forced abstinence and no sales, the South African wineries are on the brink of going bust. It's a report by Stephen Carstens, Caroline Dumay, and Sam Bradspiece.
Nsiki Biela was South Africa's first black female winemaker. After dealing with 2 years of drought, her business is now threatened by the coronavirus.
Immediately when we're like, okay, we're going to be coming out of drought, and we're like, okay, now we're going to start building as a small company, we're going to be excited, and then bang.
She produces 36,000 bottles annually, but has seen sales fall by 20% since the start of the pandemic, in part due to the alcohol ban. Reduced tourism is also hitting the sector hard. Wine estates don't just sell bottles, people also visit to enjoy on-site museums and restaurants. Groot Constantia is one of the country's first vineyards. In regular times, 400,000 people walk these historic paths every year. Their absence today is worrying for those in charge.
If you don't have reserves, you're not going to survive this. There's even wineries that might have the reserves, but they're delaying maintenance costs. They're delaying the re-establishment of vineyards. It's all dangerous things that you are playing with.
The management is yet to fire anyone, but employees have taken a pay cut. More than 200,000 Western Cape wine jobs are at risk. In Stellenbosch, the country's wine capital, experts warn that the sector faces an existential threat. Even in 2019, a third of all winemakers were operating at a loss.
Unfortunately, our industry gets very little to no government support from a financial perspective. And that will have to be the next part of the conversation. We will need some kind of bailout if there's any chance for our industry to survive beyond this.
Small and medium-sized businesses like Nsiki's are most at risk. The future of South African viticulture depends on their survival.
Tourism is one of Morocco's main sources of revenue, but with the coronavirus, the kingdom has had to close its borders and then restrict access to some of its main monuments. All this has hurt the tourist industry and the Moroccan economy as a whole. It's a report by Jean-Marie Lemaire, Nina Kozlowski and Josh Vardy.
Due to the pandemic, Morocco stands to lose an estimated 10 million tourists this year. So far, tourist centre Marrakesh has been the hardest hit. It's the morning briefing at this upscale hotel. The general manager here has been able to keep on all 150 employees for now.
On a eu cette audace de réouvrir. Aujourd'hui, on bricole avec 15-20% d'occupation. C'est bien sûr très loin de ce qu'il faut pour couvrir la totalité de nos charges. De très nombreux hôteliers n'ont pas pu prendre cette décision, certainement faute d'activité, faute de visibilité.
In 2019, the occupancy rate of hotels here was around 90%. Measures like closed borders, along with limitations on movement within Morocco, have decimated the city's economy. Despite its lively reputation, Marrakesh now lies quiet. Public health measures have forbidden nightclubs to reopen, and 70% of around 1,500 hotels are shut.
Sans l'ouverture des frontières, on ne sait pas comment on peut finir l'année, ni comment commencer l'année prochaine. Si jamais il n'y a pas d'ouverture, là on va vers les fermetures d'établissements certainement. Parce que personne, j'estime, ne peut continuer sur ce rythme. C'est impossible.
The sudden end to tourism has set off a chain reaction in the economy, with hotel and restaurant workers, estate agents, suppliers, transporters and local small businesses all equally threatened.
Je pense vraiment aujourd'hui que le modèle va changer complètement et on aura de moins en moins un tourisme de masse. Il faudrait qu'on se dirige beaucoup plus vers un tourisme de qualité qui va privilégier les petits groupes, les petits ensembles et surtout les petites structures.
In the meantime, the legendary Jama El Fanar Square has never been so empty. According to official forecasts, the economic impact of the ongoing pandemic could be felt right into 2023.
The tourism industry is also at risk in Niger, threatened not only by COVID-19 but also by terrorism. Since the attack that cost the lives of 6 French humanitarian workers and 2 local guides back on the 9th of August, France has declared the whole of the country a red zone, meaning no one is allowed to leave Niamey, the capital, unless they have a good reason. And that means a lot of tour operators and guides have lost their livelihood. It's the case for Sidou Amarou. He has invested thousands of CFA francs in these quad bikes to organize tours in the desert, 16 kilometers from Niamey.
Tous ces investissements sont à l'eau, parce que tout simplement, le Niger vient d'être classé rouge. Un coup près comme ça, c'est du suicide, c'est insensé, c'est incompréhensible. La première conséquence, c'est tuer tout un segment de tourisme. Pas un segment, tuer tout le tourisme entier.
Our reporter Simon Harding has travelled to Lisbon, Portugal, to follow the final stages of the Champions League. The competition, of course, has been affected by COVID-19. The matches are played behind closed doors and fans couldn't travel to the city. Now, what does that feel like? Here's the answer.
Lisbon, home of the defending European champions and host to the Champions League Final 8. Far from the noise and excitement that usually accompanies a major football tournament, 2020 is a subdued affair. Matches behind closed doors, few fans in the city, most of whom flock to bars to watch their team, providing some sort of revenue to businesses.
Par rapport à la période des 3 mois où il n'y a vraiment eu aucun sport étant un restaurant-bar sportif, c'est une aubaine pour nous.
Portuguese interest in the competition has been low. The effects of hosting the Final 8 have not been felt by the city. According to locals, there are 80% less people this summer than normal.
A parte boa é porque há menos pessoas, porque circulamos melhor na cidade, pronto. A parte má, a parte económica, porque o turismo faz muita falta e, no fundo, isto é um país que vive de turismo, não é?
Despite few immediate benefits, tourism authorities are banking on the fact that the publicity surrounding the Champions League will attract visitors in the long run.
É instrumento fundamental para restabelecer a confiança no destino, mas, sobretudo, pelo restabelecimento da imagem positiva de Lisboa e de Portugal em geral.
45% of the city's infrastructure shut down at the height of the pandemic. Lisbon is now using the exposure of this bizarre 2020 football showpiece as a stepping stone for a return to normality.
That's it for this edition. I'd like to thank Samia Meteni and Léa Hurel for the camera work, Young Chim for the production, and Loïc Bérou for the coordination. Thank you for watching. Please stay tuned to France 24.
Fake news. Noun. False stories that appear to be news, spread on the internet or using other media. At France 24, our job is to provide you with information that's been verified. We check sources, we check facts, we sort what is true from what is fake.
At the France 24 Observers, we verify photos and videos circulating online. If they're fake, we let you know and tell you how we spotted them.
In Fact or Fake, we dig into viral stories around Europe to shake out the truth from the trash.
Every day, the Info Migrants team scours social networks to fight fake news about the reality of migration.
France 24, news based on facts.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.